Hi guys, today we're going to talk about what point of view to write your book in. So first of all, what does P.O.V mean? So P.O.V is point of view, and it refers to what viewpoint your book is written from. So is it written from the eyes of a character or from the eyes of a narrator? There are pros and cons to writing from a character's point of view and also from writing from a narrator's point of view. And there are various books which have used either or technique. Today I'm going to discuss with you the pros and cons of writing from your character's point of view, as well as writing from the narrator's point of view, and I'm going to use some books as examples. So spoiler alert, I'm going to read small snippets from these books, so if you haven't read those books, skip forward to when I finished reading the snippet. Writing from your character's point of view. Pro 1. Personal. Because it's written from your character's point of view, your audience is understanding your character to the full. They know how they feel, they know what they can see. This is a really engaging way to write and generally sucks the audience in. Con 1. Short-sighted. You can only see what your character can see. Therefore, you can't get a glimpse of someone else's point of view unless they tell you through dialogue or their actions. An example of a book written from only one character's point of view is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. Count Threp was one of the first to come to me. He looked shorter up close and older, but he was bright-eyed and laughing as he talked about my song. So this is also in the first person, so it's my, I. But even from that sentence, you can understand how the character feels. This person is witnessing their song. He's the first person to come to him. So Koth has noticed this and recognized this person. Now from the narrator's point of view. Pro 1. Wide view. Your narrator can see everything and everyone. It can tell you what everyone is doing whenever it wants to, without jarring the reader. Con 1. Not personal. Because it's written from the narrator's point of view, they can't tell you how the character is feeling without just showing you through the character's actions or dialogue. This can be harder for the reader to take in, and also doesn't suck the reader in as much. An example of a book written from the narrator's point of view is Harry Potter by J.K.Rowling. Neville, his face tear-streaked, clutching his wrist, hobbled off with Madame Hooch, who had her arm around him. No sooner were they out of earshot than Malfoy burst into laughter. Because it's written from the narrator's point of view, it is telling the audience what each character is doing. Nothing is actually wrong with either of these point of views, writing from the narrator's point of view or from your character's point of view. Both are acceptable and readers are used to reading them. Older books tend to be from the narrator's point of view, with more modern books generally being from the character's point of view, because there is a cry out for realism and closeness to the characters. This does not mean you have to write in a character's point of view, or that if you're writing in an older style that you have to write from a narrator's point of view. Whilst not only using the point of view of a character, you can also link the point of view with the structure you choose to use in your story. I know I have a video on the strict structures of stories, but you can jump around a little. So we're going to discuss two books which do jump around in the structure, because you can use that with the point of view changes as well. One of the recent most famous books which does this is A Game of Thrones by George.R.R.Martin. He writes every chapter from a different character's point of view. So the same as the normal point of view, these have pros and cons. Pro 1. Personal. This is the same as if you're only writing from one character's point of view. You're close to the character, you know what they are thinking, and you see what they see. Pro 2. Choice of connection. I don't know about other people who read Game of Thrones, but generally people have a favourite character to read about and also a character they really don't like reading. But this isn't necessarily a bad thing. I loved Tyrion's chapters, same as everyone in the world it seems. But Catelyn Stark? Me and her didn't see eye to eye very often. I didn't enjoy her chapters. But because you know it's only one chapter, you quickly read it and then get onto your favourite characters. This is both good and bad. Pro 3. Wide view. So unlike when you're only writing from one character's point of view where the view is limited, because you have multiple characters, you have a really wide view. It's almost like you're writing as a narrator, but using the characters to tell the story. Each character knows what they're thinking, but they can tell you what the other one is doing at the same time. Because each character is in a different place, or even watching a character you've just read, you see what a character's doing from multiple point of views. Con 1. Too many. As I said, I did not like Catelyn Stark's chapters. This means that you might put the book down when you see her chapter, or it could mean that you skim it and don't read it. I didn't either, just saying. But this is always an option for the reader. Con 2. Jarring. Because you're jumping all of the time, the reader can feel jarred and jump out of the book. Con 3. George.R.R.Martin is a very famous writer. He has been published with many books even before Game of Thrones. Therefore, he can pretty much now be published no matter what he writes, because publishers know his name will sell. If you are a new author, it's normally harder to get published when you have multiple points of view. So if you are going to write in this style, I'd suggest sticking to 2, maybe 3 characters maximum. Another way to write your books with changing the point of views is in Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. He splits the book in half. So the first half of the book is Frodo's story and the second half is the Fellowship story. J.R.R. Tolkien does stick to the traditional writing from the narrator's point of view, but by splitting the book you get a wider view of the book as well as the narrator knowing everything that's going on. This is, again, both a good and a bad way to write the book. Pro, you can see multiple characters. His characters split up, so you can read Frodo's, and when they split you can then read the Fellowship's. The con of this way is, personally, I did not like Frodo's half of the books that much because Frodo whines like hell. So I would want to skip him and just read the Fellowship, which were way more interesting and cooler for me. Again, this is a risk of splitting your book. The last option in this is again a structural idea, but it is The Lies of Loch Lamora by Scott Lynch. This is also written from the narrator's point of view, but the book is split between the now of Loch Lamora and Loch Lamora's past. It's a really interesting way to structure your book, so I recommend reading it to see how you feel about it. The same as writing from multiple point of views, it has the same pros and cons. The pro is that you get to slowly see how Loch Lamora became himself whilst following his current story. The con is that it is split and you might not like reading about the young Loch Lamora. You might skip those chapters and therefore miss crucial information of the now. And thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you found that video useful. If you like what you see, please subscribe to my channel. If you'd like to see it as soon as I upload, click that little bell down below. You can also follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram or Tumblr. I post general bookish pictures as well as my writing tips on there. If you would like to see this information in written format, you can go to my website. The link is below this video. And thank you so much for watching, guys. Bye!